Heyo, YouTubers, only me. Start switching hands because the sun, I don't want it in the camera because it looks meh. It is September the 11th, or as the Americans would call it, the dreaded 9/11. It's been 24 years since that's happened. But anyways, I've finally watched the final episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Well, not the actual final one. It's the end of season 3. And then we've got season 4 at some point. I'm hoping next year. Because when season 2 came out about 2 or 3 years ago, we waited 2 years for the 3rd season. I didn't know until apparently that was the longest time to wait for season 3. So yeah, but season 3 is definitely coming. Well, it was confirmed, and obviously it came. I watched it just to stay updated to find out what's been happening. I'm now watching the final episode. It's one of those episodes where you don't know if you're going to like it, but you end up liking it anyways. So yeah, it's one of those ones where you don't know if you're gonna like it, but you end up liking it anyways. I had that experience. I'm like, am I gonna like this episode? I mean, the way it starts was brilliant, but then like halfway through, I was like thinking, what's going on here? And then eventually, near the end, I finally realised. I was like, oh, that's what's happened. I was like, what's going on? I was like, because it reminded me of 2 of the most saddest episodes in Star Trek. Like there was one in Star Trek Next Generation with with the species that's been extinct for like 1,000 years. There was that episode, and it also reminded me of another episode of Deep Space Nine called Visitor. And yeah, that was also another one of those ones. Obviously you love them, but you just can't help but like So yeah, it was one of those ones, kind of, but that's how it seemed like halfway through until and I feel sorry for Pike actually, because after what I said after what I said in Star Trek on Star Trek Day, it's kind of made me kind of regret what I said on that day. It was like, crap. Whoopsie. So I wonder how season 4 is going to unfold. I'm like, interesting. Very, very interesting. So it'll be saying goodbye to Paramount Plus and the subscription until Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Not Strange New Worlds. Star Trek Starfleet Academy comes in. Whenever that'll be. They did say next year, but they weren't really specific when next year. So I'm like, Especially we get to see the Doctor again from Voyager, the EMH, aka the Emergency Medical Hologram. Yep. Maestro himself. Literally. That's what he should have been called, as Maestro. But yeah. Actually now kind of makes me think, has he finally got a name? Because throughout Star Trek Voyager, he never actually had a name for himself, as he was, you know, being part of the crew and stuff. Because at first he saw himself as a tool, and once you don't use it anymore, you have to shut them off. But he sees himself as part of the crew, and yeah, he switches himself off, which was part of his freedom. And what made more of his freedom was getting the holo emitter from the 27th century. No, 29th century. Nearly got my wires crossed. It gained him more freedom that way. And then obviously getting permission from Captain Janeway for him to have the protocol of the being the emergency command hologram in case all else fails. And she was like, at first, and it was like, all right. So it now makes me wonder, I wonder if the Doctor has finally, after all these years, has got a name. Makes me wonder now. Really makes me wonder. On top of all that, if I had to rate Star Trek Strange New Worlds, like up to now, after what I've seen, out of 10, I give it an 8. I don't know if that's gone up a bit or down a bit, or either up a bit or it stayed the same. I don't know. All I know is up to now I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Like getting to know Pike after the almost unaired first pilot, The Cage. Finally getting to know Pike, how he commanded the Enterprise before Kirk. I know it's not what a lot of fans wanted, but it's what I sort of wanted, to find out what was Pike like commanding the Enterprise. We kind of sort of had a glimpse in the Kelvin timeline. I just wanted to know what he was like in the Prime timeline, if that made any sense. And we only had a glimmer, a very, very small glimmer. And then it became Kirk. I was like, what happened? How did he become captain and all the rest of it? And finally these answers have been answered, obviously, in the Prime timeline. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. This is Nancy. Hey. What are you crying for? Hey? Oh, that's a big yawn. That's a big yawn. Told you I get distracted. So yeah, I don't know if my rating's gone up or if it stayed the same, but I thoroughly enjoy Strange New Worlds. I can't wait to see Starfleet Academy for next year. I just wish I knew when next year it's going to be out. Well, not out, but streaming wise. So it'd be buy Paramount Plus and the subscription until I find out when is Starfleet Academy going to come out. And yes, it means we're going to go from the 23rd century to the 32nd century. So just change those numbers around. You'll be fine. It's because of the whole discovery thing. I think a lot of people are starting to try to get used to that. Because some of the fans are like, can we start with the whole going between the 23rd and 24th centuries? Can we go towards like the Picardia 25th century to the Discovery kind of era, which is the 32nd century? So I think people are starting to get it now. I know I didn't at the start. I did with the 25th century part because that was the Picard timeline, but it was the Discovery bit I was a bit like at first, and now I'm obviously like, actually this is making more and more sense. To me it does, but hey ho. Anyways, oh, and I've actually heard that they're doing another Star Trek and it's animated. Yeah, but at least it's for kids, so I'm like, so I'm not too distraught, I guess. But I know I would never ever be watching unless if I had a kid on my own and they were like, "Oh, what's this, Daddy?" I'd be like, just the wrong version of Star Trek. Is one way of putting it. What do you mean by that? Well, back in my day, I can just imagine me saying that. Back in my day, like what? Right, I'm gonna stop, and this is I don't know if this is the shortest vlog, but it's one of the shortest vlogs I've ever done. So I'm gonna say adios and live long and prosper, and don't forget to like, comment and subscribe only if you want to. Auf Wiedersehen. Right, gonna have food.